An entire Roman legion marched into a desert storm and was never seen again. This is the enduring legend of the Legio IX Hispana, one of history's most baffling military mysteries. We are talking about over 5,000 of Rome's finest soldiers, a complete and battle-hardened fighting force, disappearing without a clear trace. By the end of this, you will understand the real detective story behind this ancient cold case and the stunning new evidence that challenges everything we thought we knew. Was the Ninth Legion wiped out in the mists of northern Britain, or did it meet a stranger fate far to the east, its story swallowed by foreign sands? What does the sudden silence of 5,000 men tell us about the limits of even the greatest empires? To vanish so completely, a legion must first have a formidable presence. The Legio IX Hispana was not some fresh, untested unit. Its story began centuries before its disappearance, forged in the fires of the late Roman Republic. It was one of the original legions raised by the great General Pompey, and its early years were a masterclass in brutal, elite warfare. Under Julius Caesar himself, the Ninth fought through the entire Gallic Wars, that grueling 8-year campaign that stretched Rome's reach to the edge of the known world. They were there at the Siege of Alesia, the decisive battle that broke the Gallic chieftain Vercingetorix. This was a legion with founding DNA written by legends. Its reputation only grew with time. By the 1st century, the Ninth found itself stationed in the damp, rebellious province of Britannia. Here, under commanders like Governor Quintus Patilius Cerealis, they faced a different kind of war. They marched against the powerful Brigantes tribe in the north, a confederation of warriors who knew their home terrain intimately. These were not set piece battles on open fields, but grinding campaigns through misty hills and dense forests, a brutal war of attrition. The Ninth endured it and prevailed. Their endurance was so trusted that when Emperor Hadrian ordered his famous wall built to secure the northern frontier of Britannia, the Ninth Legion was right there, its soldiers hauling stone and standing guard as the Great Barrier rose from the earth. Inscriptions bearing their name have been found along the wall's length, a stone-cold record of their duty. This is the crucial point. We are not talking about a garrison of raw recruits that got lost on patrol. This was a veteran formation, a hardened instrument of imperial power that had survived the Gauls, tamed the Britons, and helped build one of the Roman Empire's most iconic monuments. Its very existence was a statement of Roman permanence. So when this specific legion, with this specific history, suddenly stops appearing in all military records, the silence isn't just puzzling. It is deafening. The disappearance of a green unit might be a tragedy. The evaporation of a legion like the Ninth is a historical shockwave. What force could possibly erase such a deeply etched mark from the pages of history? The last solid proof we have of the Ninth Legion is carved in stone, literally. Around the year 108, military diplomas, which were bronze discharge certificates for retired soldiers, were issued to veterans of the Legio IX Hispana. These documents placed the legion firmly at its fortress in Eboracum, what we now call York, in northern Britannia. Stone inscriptions from the same period also bear their name, marking them as present and accounted for. Then the trail goes cold. For a century, there is nothing, no more stone markers, no letters mentioning their transfer, no records of their commanders. The ultimate proof of their erasure comes from a later Roman document called the Notitia Dignitatum, an official register of all military commands and units across the empire. Compiled decades after the Ninth vanished, this comprehensive list includes every other legion that was supposed to exist. The Ninth is simply not there. It had been scrubbed from the imperial roster. This official silence gave birth to the most enduring theory, one immortalized in Rosemary Sutcliffe's famous novel, The Eagle of the Ninth. In this story, the legion marches north from York into the misty, rugged highlands of Caledonia, modern Scotland, to put down a rebellion by the fierce Caledonian tribes. The idea is that they were lured deep into unfamiliar, broken terrain, a land of dense forests, hidden glens, and sudden bogs. An ambush on such a scale, against warriors who knew every inch of the ground, could have been overwhelming. In the chaos, with no clear line of retreat, the entire formation could have been surrounded and cut down. The complete lack of survivors would explain the total absence of reports. No one was left to send a message to tell Rome what happened. The 5,000 men, their golden eagle standard, and their entire history would have been consumed by the peat and the pine, leaving behind only whispers and a gap in a ledger. It is a powerful, tragic image, a fitting end for a warrior legion in the wild northern mists. But is it what really happened? Yet the silence in Britannia does not necessarily mean a massacre. An alternative theory, gaining serious traction among modern historians, suggests the Ninth Legion was not destroyed at all, but quietly reassigned. The evidence for this begins with a single, humble artifact found far from the misty Scottish Highlands. In the modern city of Nijmegen in the Netherlands, archaeologists uncovered a roof tile stamped with the Legion's mark. This tile has been dated to around the year 120, possibly even 130. That is over a decade after the Legion's last known record in York. If this dating is correct, it shatters the classic narrative completely. It means the Ninth was pulled from Britannia and transferred to the Rhine frontier, a common practice for reinforcing troubled borders. This was not a disappearance, but a routine redeployment. So what happened next? The trail, frustratingly, goes cold again, but this new location opens a door to an even more dramatic possibility for the Legion's final act. Some scholars point to a cataclysm happening at the far southeastern edge of the empire during this exact period, the Bar Kokhba Revolt in the Roman province of Judea. Erupting in the year 132, this was not a simple rebellion. It was a brutal, all-out war for independence, a conflict of such ferocity that it reportedly cost the Romans an entire legion. Historical sources from the time are fragmentary, but they speak of massive Roman casualties. Could the veteran Ninth Legion, freshly arrived from the northern frontiers, have been one of the units rushed east to crush this revolt, only to be annihilated in the harsh Judean desert? It is a compelling, tragic symmetry, the idea of a legion famed for conquering lands being ultimately consumed by the sands of a foreign rebellion. This theory transforms the mystery from a local British tragedy into an imperial epic with a truly global scale. But these are theories built on fragments, a tile here, a cryptic historical mention there. To find harder answers, the search has moved from libraries to landscapes, employing tools the Romans could never have imagined. Modern archaeologists are now scanning the very earth where these soldiers walked. Using ground-penetrating radar, they can map buried structures without lifting a single shovel. They analyze soil chemistry, looking for spikes in phosphorus from decayed organic matter or metal residues that could indicate a sudden, violent event. In Scotland, teams have meticulously studied the remains of Roman marching camps, searching for signs of a desperate last stand, breached walls, or evidence of fire. Similarly, in the Netherlands around Nijmegen, the focus is on determining if the legion's presence there ended with a fight or a peaceful departure. Do they pack their bags and march on, or does the soil hold the hidden signature of a final, forgotten battle? This is no longer just historical speculation. It is a forensic investigation centuries after the crime. Each scan, each soil sample, is a question whispered to the ground, hoping the earth will finally break its long silence about the fate of 5,000 men. That quiet search through soil and stone suddenly found its voice with a single, battered piece of bronze. The place was Tel Shalem in modern Israel, an unassuming archaeological site that would deliver a shockwave to the mystery of the Ninth. In the 1960s, excavators made two stunning finds. The first was a magnificent bronze cheekpiece from a Roman imperial statue, likely depicting Emperor Hadrian himself, a sign of significant Roman military presence. But the second find was far more personal, and for historians, far more explosive. It was a fragment of a Roman military diploma. These were not simple dog tags. A diploma was an official, bronze certificate issued to auxiliary soldiers, non-citizen troops who had served there 25 years with honor. Upon discharge, this document granted them Roman citizenship and legal rights, a priceless reward for a lifetime of service. This particular fragment was tiny, but the words stamped upon it were monumental. It named a soldier who had served in the Legio IX Hispana. Even more staggering was its proposed date. Based on the style of the lettering and the names of officials mentioned, some scholars believe it was issued around the year 150. Let that sink in. If this dating is correct, it means the Ninth Legion was not only still in existence 4 decades after its last British record, but it was actively serving in the Eastern Roman Empire, a world away from the fog of Scotland. This little scrap of metal suggests the legion was quietly transferred from the Rhine to the east, perhaps to help garrison the volatile province of Judea in the aftermath of the Bar Kokhba Revolt. The image transforms completely. Instead of a tragic, abrupt end in a Caledonian ambush, we might be looking at a long, slow fade, a veteran unit, perhaps under strength and worn down by decades of postings across the empire, finally meeting its end in some forgotten skirmish on the dusty frontiers of Syria or Arabia. Its dissolution would have been administrative, its survivors folded into other units, its proud number retired from the rolls. This is the power of a single artifact. It can whisper a completely different story, yet, true to form for this legion, even this smoking gun is shrouded in controversy. Skeptical scholars pose a tough question. Could this diploma fragment have belonged not to a current soldier, but to a veteran? If a soldier earned his citizenship through service in the 9th decades earlier, he could have carried that precious bronze document with him for the rest of his life, eventually settling in the East. His personal treasure does not definitively prove the legion itself was there at that later date. It is a valid point, and it means the debate is far from settled. But the Tel Shalem fragment, even with its questions, forcefully pulls the narrative eastward. It argues that the true end of the Ninth Legion may not be found in the wet peat of Britain, but in the deep, consuming sands of the Middle East, a fate somehow fitting for an empire that stretched from one desert to another. The journey of the Ninth Legion is a haunting passage from solid stone to shifting sand. We began with a pillar of the empire, a unit forged by Caesar and tested across centuries, only to find its trail dissolving into whispers and fragments. From the stamped tiles of Nijmegen to the bronze sliver at Tel Shalem, each clue points in a different direction, yet none shouts a definitive answer. This mystery endures precisely because the evidence refuses to line up neatly. It is a puzzle where the most important pieces are still missing, lost to time, leaving us with a historical silhouette we can only try to fill in. Ultimately, the vanishing act of 5,000 men is about more than military logistics or a missing roster. It is a profound demonstration of scale and fragility. Even the mighty Roman Empire, with its meticulous records and far-reaching power, had limits. Beyond its roads and walls, the world remained vast, unpredictable, and capable of swallowing whole chapters of history without a trace. The story of the Ninth Legion forces us to confront a humbling truth that in the ancient world, an entire community of soldiers, with their dreams, disciplines, and daily lives, could simply step off the edge of the known map. So where does your intuition lead? Does the romantic, tragic end in the misty highlands of Caledonia feel right? Or does the practical evidence of transfer eastward, culminating in a slow fade amidst the deserts, seem more convincing? Perhaps you have a different theory entirely. The floor, or rather, the comment section, is yours. Share your verdict on the fate of Rome's lost legion below. And if you enjoy unraveling history's greatest enigmas, subscribe to join us as we search for the next story buried by time.